Welcome back everyone to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast, and this time it is going to be, as you can see, a 2v2 on Pripyat sector. I'm not sure who requested a cast. It's one of the players. He sent me the link for kojo.org, so I have no idea who you are. Anyway, the players are going to be Arashenstein playing as the British, Magalakil of the Soul Clan as the USF, and on the opposing side we're going to see Arbus Budesh as the Wehrmacht, and Ghost 982G as the OKW. Interesting names. So we're going to see already some Volksgrenadiers coming through from the OKW, and probably MGs from the Wehrmacht. And, well, the map. I'm not sure if you've ever seen this map. I haven't. Let's take a look at it. Looks like, well, there's the munitions points that are pretty... Wait. Hold on. This map reminds me of something. It looks like I know it. Well, it's just recycled assets, it seems. There's a lot of assets recycled from like the old Stalingrad maps. Anyway, looks like there's a couple of munitions points right up the center. None of these buildings seem occupiable, except a few. But there's, of course, a lot of debris, a lot of heavy cover. And the VPs, there's two of them. Interesting. Machine gun going to be flanked around by these lovely rear echelon troops. Good play from Magalakil. He's going to be able to pump that fire into the machine gun and force it away, hopefully. On the left side, it seems like the OKW is doing a little bit better, but of course the Vickers from the Ritz is also going to provide suppressing fire to them, allowing them to push back the Germans eventually. So the right side goes to the Allies. The left side is still under control of Germany. Unfortunately for the Brits, they can't really push up that well with the machine gun. So they're going to be left to a defensive position without the VP being under their control, so that's kind of annoying. Interesting flank attempt from these Volksgrenadiers. They're clearly using the Stern Pioneers as sort of a bait, and now they're coming in with these two units, but it's going to be too late. Of course, the machine gun switches fire to the other Volksgrenadier squad as the Stern Pios retreat. The second squad manages to get in along the flank, but the first squad is almost getting completely wiped out, and then the flanking Volksgrenadiers will probably just be shot up by the infantry sections, absolutely gunned down by the Lee Enfields, and will not be able to do too much in the face of all that fire, so the machine gun stands. In a similar vein, the right side is under control of the Allies, but the middle part is being captured by the Axis, so they're going to have both of the munitions points, interestingly enough. And, well, there's a few points that aren't really necessary to cap. Sorry. Anyway, they aren't really necessary to cap, it seems. So it's going to be... Ooh, damn. These riflemen are in trouble. Will they die? Nah, they will not. Oh, damn. Good shot, I guess. Damn, Grenadier's getting a pretty good shot. Wait, is everybody bugged? Yeah, everybody's a shadow. I have no idea why. Anyway, basically what just happened is that, yeah, a bunch of these points back had to be recapped, so a lot of these troops for the Allies weren't actually in the front lines. But the Germans kind of didn't care about these points, so they just swarmed in and took out everything. Also using a nice double team, coming up with the Stern Pioneers, helping out, of course, his ally. So good job by Ghost 2G. And, of course, the ambulance goes down to a Panzerfaust by these Grenadiers. So that's an interesting little kill. We also got, of course, Battle Phase 1 coming through. We're going to see some scout cars, hopefully, by Arbus. He might want to go with Flame Half-Track too, considering he's going to have enough munitions soon enough. He's had control over both munitions points, even though now the Brits have captured the left side munitions. And overall, I mean, the Allies do have that fuel cache over there, but they're starting to be kind of eating away at their map control advantage, so they're going to have some problems along the way soon enough. And right now, the machine gun is going to force away this poor Volksgrenadier squad, but the Grenadier on the left side might be able to get around it. Get around the arc of fire. No, don't stay there. No, you idiot. And yeah, he's not going to be able to do too much, but somehow a machine gun is brought up. Right at the same time, mine is going to force away the rear echelon troops. And the machine gun, along with all of this German infantry, is going to be able to capture these points. Whereas in the rear, we have a little bit of a derp from all of these infantry sections. They're capturing everything up here. So they're kind of having a cultural exchange, if you may. But in the end, it seems like the Germans will have the upper hand, or no, because they decide to reposition the machine gun at the worst possible time. A couple of rifleman squads are going to come out of the woodwork, flank it, and force it basically to retreat or completely kill it. And in the meantime, it just looks like the Volksgrenadiers are taking some huge losses, courtesy of these British infantry troops. And at this point, it seems like, yeah, there's not going to be enough. Not going to be enough Germany on the field to push back all these Allied troops. So the Allies have a golden opportunity to come in and recapture these points on the right-hand side with their extra infantry squads that they now have available to them. Looks like there's also some decapping going on. At least the fuel point has been decapped for the Germans, thus reducing the Allied advantage a little bit and forcing it back into a advantage for the Germans. There goes a nice grenade. Destroys a squad. Destroys another squad with another grenade, I'm guessing. So overall, pretty bad loss for Arbuz. He was good. He basically had 3 grenadiers, and now he's only got 1. That's very bad for him, obviously. Another grenade comes through, but this time it does not have the desired effect. Once the surprise of those Tommy grenades kind of evaporates, these aren't going to be as effective as they could be. You just don't really expect the Brits to go grenades usually, so that's why they were so damn effective right at the start. They managed to get 2 wipes and basically just force back Arbuz for a long while. I mean, he's not going to have the infantry required to go around and cap, so his capping power is going to be lower. His well, usefulness overall as a player will be lower, but he does have a half-track. That's going to be eventually upgraded into a flame half-track, I'm guessing, although he's delaying that by upgrading these grenadiers with an LMG. Then there's some Panzer Grenadiers for his, of course, light mechanized company. Those Panzer Grenadiers should be pretty effective on this map. It seems like there's a lot of medium to short range action to be had, and so those Panzer Grenadiers are going to be very effective with their STG-44s, especially on some of these areas of the right-hand side. There's, as you can see, these lovely areas in which you can send your Panzer Grenadiers to get some heavy cover, and then get around the buildings using those lines of sight. Although the Allies have the same idea, basically, so the Rangers are going to be called in by Maglakill. Maglakill seems to have lost some riflemen. Is that true? Do you have riflemen? Yes, he's lost 2 riflemen as well. So both of these players getting a lot of losses dealt to them. Let's see how they recover from that. Of course, we have the lieutenant coming here on the right-hand side. It's going to get forced away by the machine gun, which is getting supported by the half-track. Here comes also the German infantry in the center. They're going to be able to force back those rear echelon troops. And in the meantime, the Rangers are trying to flank, and they should get around the machine gun and basically murder it at close range of those Thompsons. Also, the riflemen are coming through in the center, but they're going to encounter at close range these Panzer Grenadiers, so this is not going to be good for them. And thankfully for Arbuz, he managed to get a suppression off on these Rangers just before they killed the MG. So at least they were slowed down, and right now it seems like these Panzer Grenadiers might just get saved by the half-track. However, the half-track is taking fire from an anti-tank gun. It's a 6-pounder. So interesting little combination. There goes the half-track. Not before it managed to get some reinforcements down on the field. And it seems like the rifleman squad, of course, was destroyed overall by the STG-44s. And the anti-tank gun is also in trouble. So a very good engagement for the Axis. They're also going to be able to recapture the right-hand side VP. Whereas on the left, there's a bunker upgrading the machine gun just in time to catch a whole massive swarm of infantry sections. So they're going to be able to suppress all of those Tommies basically for free and force away all the British infantry for a while. A grenade comes through, but it will not be enough. And in the meantime, yeah, the machine gun bunker is still opening up on those poor infantry sections. The sappers will go in and actually, you know, add themselves to the mix and get themselves suppressed for no reason. So that's kind of a bad idea. Whereas the AT gun is just running away. It's making the great escape from the entire right-hand side to the left. Just shoot at this bunker. However, it's not going to be enough because the bunker is being covered by his ally. Goes to, oh no, that's actually goes to G. So he has fortifications. He will be covered by the Sturm Pioneers, but the bunker goes down. So if he can now If he can now capture this Ordnance Expander anti-tank gun or salvage it, he's going to have won a pretty decent victory. Otherwise, the British will be in an okay spot. They will have destroyed the bunker if they can recruit the anti-tank gun for free. However, it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to recruit the anti-tank gun because these Sturm Pioneers are just hounding the Vickers crew, and they're going to be able to gun down the last remaining members quite easily. So hopefully, we should have both a Vickers and a 6-pounder anti-tank gun in the hands of the OKW. Yep, they will be able to chase them down and kill the machine gun crew, and they will steal the machine gun. Very well done by Ghost 2G. And right now, there's 2 Rangers coming into center, but this will not be enough. I think the grenade, the pineapple goes down, but yeah, he's going to have to retreat his Rangers for a lot of German troops, and they will manage to destroy that squad. That is 400 manpower that goes into the drain. Not the best possible outcome for Maglakill. He's very much struggling, but he's going to go for a Stuart. Right now, that would be very, very crucial. Arbus does not have any anti-tank gun. Nor a lot of anti-tank overall. I mean, he does have enough munitions to upgrade Panzerschrecks on his Panzer Grenadiers, but he has decided not to, and this could be a very, very big mistake for him as the Stuart approaches and might be able to turn the tide of the right-hand side completely in the favor of the Allies. Commando glider insertion, so that's actually commandos, like it's actual commando. That's not something that you usually see. And, ooh, that's very bad. The Brits really need to... Oh, damn. Interesting grenade. They really need to learn to not bunch up their units quite so much. But at this time, because of the excellent commando glider, that was very well done, actually. The commando glider will allow the Brits to basically recapture this machine gun, which is a Vickers, and force away the rest of the German troops back to base. It's a bit unfortunate that he will lose the Horsa glider, because actually the Horsa has 160 manpower, because Commando Squad is 340 manpower, whereas the Commando glider insertion is 500 manpower, so you're actually paying that thing quite heavily. So once it goes down like this, it's not the best thing, of all time. It's a bit like losing an engineer squad. It's not something that you'd want to do, but sometimes the Commando glider insertion pays for itself. So this is one of those cases. He was able to recruit that Vickers machine gun, so it was pretty well done. It was, as you saw, the Commando glider takes quite a while to get down and dirty. So actually, it was a very, very well played engagement from Raschenstein. He had an excellent prediction with the glider, and he would need it over there in a few minutes. So that was pretty good. And here comes some grenades some more grenades by these infantry sections, but the infantry sections are in a bad way because of the MG42. Will they be able to sink the last remaining member into the ground? No, probably will not. However, they're getting flanked by 3 squads of Sturm Pioneers, so once again Ghost 2G providing help to his ally and getting a very nice kill off on that machine gun. I'm guessing that it will be a kill. If he can chase it down with these Sturm Piles, it will definitely be a kill, and it will be. He's also now got a lot of STG-44 equipped men in the rear lines of the Allies, and right now, of course, the commandos are getting suppressed by both the MG42 and the support gun. However, here comes the cavalry, actually literally, cavalry company comes in with Rangers and the Stuart, completely demolishes the last remaining Sturm Pioneers, and saves that infantry section from being wiped out by the Sturmpiles. Also, it allows the Allies to reclaim this machine gun once more for freedom and democracy. Right now, a grenade comes in, and this squad will go down from that. There we are. Very nice wipe. And right now, the Stuart will be charging in across, destroys completely the remnants of the glider, sending basically the pieces scattering across the battlefield, and the Stuart will be able to force away that machine gun with fire and smoke. And right now, that machine gun needs to escape. Yet another flanking attempt from these Panzer Grenadiers will not be a good idea right now because of the Stuart, and right now they're not getting upgraded with any anti-tank weapons. However, these guys are. So here comes the Panzerschrecks. One of them hits the building, the other one does connect and forces away the Stuart. Does not want to take all that damage from those 88mm handheld anti-tank weapons. Here comes a grenade, actually. So the bundle grenade, sorry, not the bundle grenade, the Gammon bomb kills 4 Panzer Grenadiers, which is not the correct Panzer Grenadiers, so leaves these squads alive. The Stuart tries to come in and finish off the enemies, but it's actually getting kind of no favors from this terrain, as are the Panzer Grenadiers. This kind of statue ground area, platform, absorbed a lot of fire in that last engagement. In the meantime, on the right-hand side, there goes the lieutenant. No, that's not the lieutenant. Who was that? That was the captain. So there goes the captain, dropping the bazooka for these rear echelons. There's a bit of a positional warfare going on between Ghost 2G's bunker and Megalakill's fighting position. Of course, with the support of these rear echelons, the Americans are going to be able to throw some grenades, but it's not like, you know, this is going to really amount to anything. And right now the Allies, actually have a double cap. So the Allies are in a superior position, as it may. However, the Axis is starting to come back into this game. And we have a Sure Panzer quarters coming through for Ghost 2G. So he's spamming not Panzer Grenadiers, sorry, Sturm Pioneers. Just gets confusing because they're basically the same units. Anyway, the Sturm Pioneers are doing quite well for him, but soon enough he's going to need normal infantry and he's going to need vehicles. And right now he's kind of hoping that the Sure Panzer quarters will provide him with some, I hope, vehicles. Right now we do have a Panzer IV from Budash, but I mean, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be especially very good against the Stuart, but this unit isn't gonna make or break the action, I feel like, especially with all the bazookas that are on the field for the Allies. Yeah, although, I mean, the bazookas are now retreating, so this could be going pretty well. These Rangers actually don't have, and oh, surprise, it's the Thompson upgrade, but they retreat. See, I feel like he could have stayed just a little tiny bit longer just to get a surprise Thompson upgrade effect on the Grenadiers. And the Stuart goes down. I am guessing it will die if the Panzer IV chases it down. With the support of that Panzerschreck fire, they should be able to kill that pesky Stuart. Light tank going down at sort of the mid to late game stage. Never a bad thing, just provides some more security to your infantry. And the 6-pounder is still alive, surprise, surprise, and it's right now just going to wait in ambush for the Panzer IV to come in. It does, and it gets a shot off, but the Panzer IV just does not really care and dances around the AT gun quite skillfully, not allowing the 6-pounder crew to get a shot off. Unfortunately, it will suffer a hit, but it will escape that kind of pesky situation it was thrust in. And right now, the Panzer IV being alive is basically just going to be such an annoyance for the Allies that it's worth it in and of itself. We're going to get some repairs through from these engineers. I feel like Arbuz should go for a second engineer squad instead of going for more Panzer Grenadiers. He needs the extra repair capacity for the Panzer IV, so that's why I would definitely advise him to go for that. Right now, here comes a nice Gammon bomb, but it will not get that much damage. Right now, our Aschenstein does have a pretty decent infantry force, pretty well-rounded overall. He's got units that can do basically everything. But he's going for a Churchill, which is a bit of a puzzling decision, in my opinion. Oh, damn these Rangers. A bit of a puzzling decision because he needs more anti-tank, he needs more mobile anti-tank, he needs more versatile units. Because right now, yeah, he has a few units of infantry, but they're mostly, I mean, they're British, so they really cannot deal with enemy vehicles in any kind of way. Other options would be going for a lot of Piats, but right now he does not have that much munitions, and also going for a lot of Piats might just, you know, decrease his anti-infantry capabilities. So what I would feel would be the best choice for him is not the Anvil Tactics and the Churchill, but the Hammer Tactics and the Comet. I feel like it would be very, very great. Doesn't really work with the terrain as much as it could. It's not really, doesn't seem like the best map for the Comet. There's a lot of spots where the Comet can get just kind of stuck, and the pathfinding can really screw it. But overall, I mean, the Comet would be a much better purchase right now than the Churchill, but we'll see. What is happening over here? This Stuart is just escaping. Great escape of the Stuart. However, the anti-tank gun is going to do it a very, very big disfavor by not turning around and firing on this guy when he turns the corner, but he does not turn a corner. So I have no idea. Right now, the infantry up here are doing quite okay, capturing the northern side of the map for King and Country. And right now, yeah, the anti-tank gun in the center is spotted, and it's taken fire from the support gun. However, the Storm Pioneers closing in for the kill will have a nasty surprise in the form of the Churchill. And in fact, the Churchill almost completely sorry, almost completely runs them over. And yeah, it's gonna get forced away only by the Panzerfausts. Ooh, these Rangers finally starting to get their act together and getting some value off of, you know, their Thompsons. Very good. At the same time, I feel like the Allies can mount an offensive on the Schwer Panzer quarters. Like, look at what the Germans have right now. They don't really have anything that can deal with this Churchill unless the Churchill lets itself get dealt with by the Panzerfaust and the Panzerschrecks. So, if the Churchill can be covered by the Vickers machine gun... Oh, damn, this is a Stuka strike coming up over here from Jaeger armor. That was absolutely devastating. That was an amazing Stuka strike. Much worse, however, on a Raschenstein than, you know, a good play by Artes, because it's really easy to dodge those Stuka strikes. So that was really bad. And right now, his Churchill's going to get flanked around by the Panther. And in the meantime, Sherman is going to slug it out against the Panzer IV, but the Panzer IV does have the support of a lot of German infantry, whereas the Churchill doesn't seem to be getting much help except from the Stuart. The Stuart tried to get a shell shock, it seems, but actually, no, it's on cooldown. Might have been just used, but it might have been used earlier on something else. The Sherman, in the end, gets finished off by the Panther, because it tried to come in and help, but the Panther is now in trouble because of that. So he's taking a lot of damage, still fires on the Churchill, almost kills it, and now it's gonna face off against the M5 Stuart. M5 almost gets a point-blank engine shot, but the Panther manages to escape. That does not track enemy vehicles, it's not a Homan, so it will be forced to escape. Well, it will manage to escape, and actually it seems like the support gun gets the kill. Very interesting. In the meantime, we had 2 bazookas just sitting by here doing nothing. So that was a pretty big mistake for Magla Kill, not bringing in those bazookas. That could have been a lot of damage per second that he just wasted. That could have, of course, helped out his vehicles very, very greatly. Of course, the Axis seem a lot more concerned about those bazookas as they're getting a Panzerwerfer. Panzerwerfer gonna be okay. Although, I feel like with the kind of infantry playstyle that the Allies are going for, it's not very static. I mean, the Brits are pretty static, but they've just been dealt with by the Stuka strike. So going for a Panzerwerfer really is a little redundant on that. I feel like maybe waiting for a second Panzer IV or a Brummbär. Actually, a Brummbär would have been a much better decision. Would have been better. Of course, hindsight, blah, 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 blah. But definitely, considering the clues that we've been given for the Axis, you can see that there's a slight amount of vehicles, but mostly it's just a lot of elite infantry that the Allies are relying on to beat the German infantry and get points captured under their control and get map control that way. So, really, Brummbär is the obvious choice against that, but oh well. There's a Jackson on the field and 2 Churchills, of course, because the other Churchill actually survived. So we're going to see a Churchill spam from a Raschenstein. This can actually be very annoying to deal with if you're the Germans, because these things are hard to kill. So already one of them is annoying enough, but 2 is, like, really, really annoying. So, of course, it's going to be very effective against the infantry with the French guns and the machine guns and the grenades. Overall, this could work out quite well in bleeding out the Germans. However, if the Panther spam starts coming through for Ghost 2G, or perhaps even, you know, a King Tiger comes through, yeah, we're going to have a hard time for our Churchill friends. However, something that I'm not quite understanding is why Arbus went for the Jaeger armor doctrine. I mean, this is a city map, so the elephant is a very, very bad idea. Devastating Panzerwerfer volley actually kind of shuts me up and kills both of those squads. However, I mean, to be completely fair, oh yeah, that was just very good. That was just good. Still, I don't think that the elephant doctrine is going to be that useful. I mean, he hasn't been using his spotting scopes at all. He's been using his reconnaissance overflights and his Stuka bombing strikes. But if he were going for those 2 aspects of the doctrine, why not go for, like, I don't know, Luftwaffe support? Luftwaffe, wait, what was it called? Close air support, yeah. Also, he just lost a massive number of Panzer Grenadiers through a grenade, so that's not exactly the best thing. Anyway, yeah, I feel like Luftwaffe close air support would have been a heck of a better choice for what he's trying to do than the Jaeger armor, you know? Because it would also provide him with, I can't remember the name of that, I think it's just called strafing support. It would also provide him with a strafing run. There we are. And of course, the close air support thing, you know, the two strafes, both the anti-tank strafe and the anti-infantry strafe are very, very strong. And it would have also given him supply drops. So just in case right now, he's got a big sort of surplus of manpower, he can just call down some kind of supply drop and help him out that way. Which could also be used to help his ally, by the way, provide more resources to him to go for more Panthers or more, I don't know, faster King Tiger or something like that. And here comes a air supremacy operation, which almost devastates the Schwer Panzer quarters, just leaves it with a tiny sliver of health. I mean, there's two Churchills right now ready to go. I feel like them plus the Jackson could destroy the Schwer Panzer, but it's a very risky operation regardless. The Churchills come in and they will be spotted by the Panther. They will destroy the Schwer Panzer quarters, but they're also getting flanked by the Panzer IV, which is now up to Vet 2, so it does have those armored skirts. The Panther gets forced back by the Jackson, so that's a very good thing for the Allies. And right now, they should really just retreat, but they lose the Sherman, and they might lose the Jackson as well if they stick around too hard. And yeah, they will lose the Jackson at this point. The Jackson should absolutely have escaped much earlier, so we're going to see the USF getting completely wiped off the map. And well, right now, they've only got a couple of units left. Even more grenade terror coming through from infantry sections, but it's not going to be enough. I mean, actually, wait, what is this artillery? It's actually major artillery. Yeah, that must be major artillery. It's way too puny. Anyway, so major artillery gonna fall down on the battle group headquarters. But this is a very good pickup because it's going to prevent Ghost 2G from going for more Panthers. However, this pushes him into the King Tiger direction fairly firmly, and he is going to go for the Mechanized Regiment headquarters just to get the third building that he requires right now to go for the KT. In the meantime, the Churchill spam is going to be broken up by a Firefly. Not the best map for the Sherman Firefly, not as many open lines of sight, but it's still going to be a very, very powerful tool for the Brits to deal with German heavy armor. And of course, Arschenstein does not have the most munitions at his disposal, but Tulip rockets would be quite useful anyway, because of course he was using up those air supremacy operations, which is a lot of munitions, so he's not going to be quite as well equipped to deal with the armor. But even without the Tulips, the Sherman Firefly is going to be very, very useful indeed. Seems like the Panzerschreck spam is being called slowly but surely by the Churchills. We only have 2 Panzerschreck squads left, so only 3 of those vile weapons being left. And here comes a Stuka strike. I'm not sure where, but it did do something. Just, I'm not sure what. Anyway, the 2 Churchills will try to push in. They're going to get kind of thrown away by that pack, which is going to be very effective at dealing with the Churchills because of its, of course, very strong penetration. However, with so many allied vehicles in the way, especially the 2 tank destroyers, the Axis tanks just can't stay in the fight, and they're going to have to eventually abandon the Pack 40 to its fate. Although, what is this smoke? It looks like it's some kind of British airstrike. Wait, no, that's an American recon run from the Major. Yeah, that was a Major recon. So lots of abilities being called in by this Major. Still feel like that's, you know, not the best thing ever. Anyway, he could use his munitions in a better way. Like, he could build some riflemen and upgrade them with some bars, or he could build, you know, what could he do with his munitions? He could save them up for, of course, off-map smoke barrage, but that's not the best thing. He could save them up for HVAP rounds once he gets the Pershing. Anyway, Commandos right now are going to get caught away by those Volksgrenadiers. They're going to jump out of cover mode, and now they're going to try to murder them at close range with the stuns. They will kind of be able to, especially that grenade almost completely wipes them. but of course, lots of losses coming through on the commandos as well. Things aren't looking the best for the Axis, however, as right now they still have the control of the right side of the map, whereas the left side is pretty much an allied fortress with the amount of armor that they have over here. It's not going to fall anytime soon. It seems like the biggest thing about this map is that it's gonna result in some very long games, because you have one guy slightly on the left and one guy slightly on the right, or rather one team slightly on the left and one team slightly on the right, and that's enough to get the VPs to be literally still even, because it's not like in other matches where you may have a central VP that people are gonna fight over, and then every once in a while, you know, somebody gets that VP, and so they start to drain some points. No, here, it's literally a stalemate, and nobody is going to change their tickets. So that's an interesting little layout. Anyway, looks like the Panzer IV is going to have to be, once again, be told, please go away, although both of these shots miss. Still, the fight over the center is going to go well for the Axis as long as Meglakill keeps throwing away his armor, as he's doing right now. Very lucky, this Panther. He just takes so many shots and doesn't even take one hit, one penetrating hit, rather. All of them being deflected by the armor. That's, I mean, very lucky. Although that does not change the fact that Jackson absolutely overstepped its boundaries. Meglakill really needs to learn that his Jacksons are not heavies. They need to be very, very, very carefully managed. And if they step ahead even just a single centimeter, they're probably going to die. Just like these Churchills are about to die from the Pack 43, and the Elephant that are both on the field right now. So lots of heavy anti-tank being purchased by the Axis, which is going to do quite well against the Churchill. Going to kill the Veterans 2-1. The second one is still alive, and it's supporting the Sherman Firefly, but the heavy long-range anti-tank is going to be taking its toll on the last remaining allied units in the area. Luckily for the Sherman Firefly, the Elephant actually shoots at the other Churchill rather than finishing off the Firefly. The Panther does not have the same idea and tries to chase through and help out with that, but it's not going to be enough. There goes a vet-free Ranger squad that was flanking around the anti-tank guns. It did manage to kill some of these anti-tank guns. The Major comes in, and RDs, the Pack 43, will it be enough to destroy the gun? Probably not, although the shell does fall rather close. It kills the crew. It almost destroys the gun. Will the last remaining shells be enough? No, it slightly misses. Oh, it actually goes down. So very, very good usage of the Major artillery. Getting kind of lucky with the RNG, but still 600 manpower down the drain for Ghost 2G. However, it's not going to be enough to deal with the last remaining German armor that is in the area. The Allied infantry is still able to capture the VP. I said the VP because it's like, you know, normally up here in the center you fight over a VP, but they're going to be able to capture the munitions point until the Panzer IV shows up and forces them away. Still, I mean, there's not really quite as much German anti-infantry as there is anti-armor. So if the Allies are kind of smart, they're going to be able to overwhelm the Germans with just infantry. Of course, the efforts in that direction just kind of took a hit with these Rangers being wiped out. Well, rather these buddies, Rangers, the buddies of these Rangers. Anyway. And the Panther comes in. Why is the Panther so up close behind enemy lines? No idea. It's going to realize it's a mistake and escape. However, yeah, as you can see, the Allied infantry is just kind of easily coming through, destroys the last remaining German troops that are on that point. And we're probably going to throw a grenade over here and destroy these Sturmpiles. I mean, the Panther is going to force away the Churchill very easily, but what's it going to do against all these infantry guys? And right now there's 2 Sherman Fireflies on the field, so they're going to be able to easily destroy this Panzer IV. However, they themselves are going to be very small fish compared to this Elephant, so the Elephant just kind of comes in and shoots them up. However, it's making a mistake. It's just taking itself very, very close to the enemy lines. It needs to be very careful about any kind of flanks. Because if right now, for example, Meglakill hadn't wasted all of his Jacksons, he could use his Jacksons to come in behind the Elephant Tank Destroyer and destroy it that way. However, because of that, he's relatively safe and comes in and shoots up the Churchill. Although he still loses an infantry squad, still loses the other infantry squad, or at least close to loses his other infantry squad. And right now, his Elephant is in a very, very bad way because of the Sherman Fireflies. He realizes it and escapes. back to base, so that is a very, very good thing for him. He does not want to get himself flanked by any kind of vehicle. And yeah, now he's going to be pretty safe behind his lines. Although, with the complete destruction of both the Schwer Panzer quarters and the Pak 43, the Axis defensive position in the center is starting to become a little less tenable. Although, that's not really what matters at this point. What matters are not the resources anymore. It's the VPs, and right now the VPs are basically even. We have 416 for the Allies and 352 for the Axis. So what the Allies need to do is they need to find some way to capture this right side point. Of course, Maglakil is with the cavalry company, so he does have access to the smoke barrage to deal with that bunker fire just temporarily. And yeah, he could just come in with an infantry squad and capture the point, and he's not doing that. That's kind of a shame. At least to do some harassment would be very, very good for him. But hey, so we have a second Churchill coming through for Raschenstein. That's a bad move. He knows that his opponents have Panthers and Elephants, and they might be prone to building Pak 43s as well. So going for another big lumbering, not really fast heavy tank is, well, not going to really be all that useful for him. Okay, so we have a actually flank attempt from a Pershing. This could be very, very good. If the Pershing can destroy this elephant, or at least confuse the hell out of it, then that could be very good. Right now, however, the center is being destroyed completely by a push from the Axis, the OKW. The OKW is doing well in that way, but the elephant actually is just getting flanked by the Pershing. The Pershing's only problem are these Panzerschrecks, and right now it tries to get behind the elephant, but it completely fails at keeping up and is eventually outmaneuvered by the elephant and destroyed. However, the Sherman Fraulein comes in and deals a massive, massive hit to the elephant. The elephant is going to be saved by the Panther and, of course, the Pak 40 anti-tank gun and the Panzerschrecks being in the area. Major already missed the last remaining health bits of the elephant, so it is going to be able to escape. And the Churchills right now are going to force away the last few... Oh, damn! Last few infantry soldiers for the Germans. However, we have an air supremacy operation, and that's going to absolutely melt the last remaining infantry that was escaping. The few units that are left are probably going to be destroyed by these Churchills, so that is very, very good for them. Let's see, here comes the grenade. The troll grenade of a lifetime destroys the Pak gun crew. And right now the machine gun over here is in dire straits. It's going to get completely swarmed by these big lumbering beasts of doom. Very, very much a World War I scene. Although they completely ignore the machine gun and go for the rear. They're going to go for the rest of the area. However, the elephant just barely gets its gun repaired, and so it's going to be able to toss back these Churchills back where they came from. One of the Churchills manages to destroy a support gun. However, the other Churchill is basically just eating Panzerschreck and eating 88mm from the elephant. So this could be pretty bad. Why isn't the other Churchill providing smoke support for the first Churchill that's taking fire? I have no idea, but this is going to be the end of this poor heavy tank. The elephant is being shot at by the German Firefly, but it does not really care too much about that. The elephant is a big hard counter for the Firefly. So right now, the Firefly's only option is to escape. So that could have been very, very, very bad for the Axis, but they just barely, by their skin of their teeth, managed to survive that push by the Brits. Thanks to a very timely repair of the elephant from both Stern Pioneers and Pioneers. So it was very, very good that they were able to coordinate on that crucial task of repairing a very, very important vehicle. Right now there are 2 Panzerwerfers on the field. Looks like the first one got hit and killed because, well, the 8-kill Panzerwerfer is no more. So actually 2 more were built by Arbus. I feel like going for more Panzerwerfers right now, it's a bad idea. If I was him, I would definitely save up and go for a, Brumbear. For the reasons I said earlier, I mean, he really needs to be able to deal with these Rangers in a more versatile way than artillerying them. And he does not need free artillery pieces either, so, he could have a bit more capabilities if he were to go for that Brumbear, and then maybe just either save up or go for more Panzer IVs or something. What he needs right now is versatility and being able to push on the left-hand side, because the Axis may be winning the last few engagements because of their elephants, or their one elephant and their support coming in from the Panther, but it's not really enough. Once again, I'm gonna say this, it's not enough to deal with the infantry to have some very, very good anti-vehicle units, because what if you force away their vehicles, you maybe even kill some of them, but then all the infantry surges forward and captures points anyway, which is what is happening right now. It happens that you don't really win. You either don't win or you just outright lose. Actually, very, very good mine placement just saved them from this Firefly flank, but they're still free Fireflies, so the Panther can't really do too much, and right now there's an LFH artillery piece that's dangerously close to these Fireflies, so if these Fireflies can get in, get some repairs maybe, and then fight the artillery piece, it's going to be pretty okay, but one of them goes down to the 75mm fire of the Panther. And yeah, it seems like these Fireflies are in a bad way, but there's not really anything on the German side that can come in and capitalize. So that's going to be pretty bad. Another Pershing is on the field for Maglakill. He's going to try to use it against the Elephant. That is a bad idea. He needs to be able to flank. And to be able to flank, he needs some infantry support. So he should not push his Pershing in while his, of course, infantry is back at base doing God knows what. And right now, yeah, the Churchill comes in and saves his little cousins. So one Churchill is still, I would say, a pretty good idea, but two Churchills is way too much. He does not need two Churchills for anything. One of them is enough to be able to just kind of come in, eat up some pack shots, throw some grenades, and deal some damage to the infantry, thus allowing those crucial Fireflies to deal with the vehicles themselves, which is what they were made for. And yeah, it's basically still a stalemate. We can see from the tactical map, it's still basically this 50-50 split along the central munitions points. And if any side were to really send some units to either, either side VP, and that's a King Tiger, by the way, they would be in a much better position. Finally, some Volksgrenadiers coming through on the left side, trying to capture some points. Raschenstein is falling behind in infantry, actually. That's very, very bad. Because right now, the only reason why the Allies are in the game is because they have much superior infantry that can always come in and capture points and maintain the VP, at least the equality on the VP front. But if they allow the Germans to get, surge ahead when it comes to infantry, which of course these Rangers are having none of, but if they were to allow that, for example, by not using 900 manpower, then, the Germans are slowly but surely going to be able to win, especially because now they have this Elephant that's still around, and oh, that's pretty bad. The Rangers, they're taking a lot of losses over here, but they managed to get some line of sight over here, and so the air supremacy is going to be coming through. The Panzerwerfers know what's happening. Do the Pioneers? Yes, they do. But unfortunately, this artillery piece does not have any way of escaping the reign of terror that is about to be unleashed on the whole area. And in fact, the crew goes down. The gun, however, stays alive, so that is very lucky for the Germans that they were not. They did not lose that gun, because now they're going to be able to just simply repair it and carry on. Sounds like the Königsdieger is having a fun time. It destroys completely the glider and, exposes these commandos as the naked, poor infantrymen that they are. However, the Panther is in a bad shape because it's actually eating fire from those 17-pounders. Trying to come in and flank the Churchill is not going to be a great idea when you're getting flanked yourself by the Fireflies in the process. The Churchill is at least dealing with the Pak 40 anti-tank gun, which is going to allow the Fireflies to come in and deal with the King Tiger. But the Elephant is still around, and it's just kind of peeking in from the rear and the flank. And the Persian heavy tank can do something about it, but it's not a lot. It's definitely not going to be enough if it does not flank. It's going to be standing and fighting head-on-head with the Elephant, which is, of course, not the best idea. It's going to escape. However, the Elephant is still in a pretty precarious spot, and if these Fireflies were to try to come in, this might be good. Here comes the Stuka bombing strike over here, destroying a fighting position. Not the best kill at all. But right now, yeah, the Pak gun is going to be destroyed, and hopefully some Allied infantry unit is going to come in and capture this left-hand side. which is the reason why I was raving about Rationstein not using these 700 points of manpower, because if he were to just put some units here, he would just basically be able to take this point without any, you know, any opposition. So why don't you go for infantry? I have no idea. He's finally rebuilding some infantry sections, but it's definitely a little late. I mean, should have gone for that much earlier. And still the Allies have absolutely ignored the right side, which is a huge problem, honestly. If they were able to just get some units on the right-hand side, they'd be in a much better position, because they have this smoke barrage. They can smoke this and capture the point, ignoring the bunker in the process. That, of course, would provide them with a double cap, and at least force the Germans to send some units there. I have no idea why they're not doing that. Anyway, these Rangers are sneaking around the KT, but yeah, they're gonna get completely demolished by these Panzer Grenadiers. Oh my god, are they actually gonna be completely wiped out? Possibly. They're in the open against the KT. Can the last shot finish them? No, they get out of the line of sight. Very good. Still, I feel like the Allies are throwing away a win over here by not sending anybody to the right side and by not using their manpower. Although finally, Rationstein has used his manpower because he had to rebuild his Sherman Firefly. Although honestly, I feel like a couple Cromwells would do it much better than Fireflies right now, because as you can see, we have a bit of an annoyance when it comes to... Oh my god, that was amazing. 2 infantry squads completely wiped out by the Panzerwerfer triple barrage. That plus the elephant seems to be the problem for the Allies that they can't just deal with. And well, guess how you deal with tank destroyers and artillery units? Well, you have the same counter to both of those. That is mobile tanks that can flank around. Because it really is the mobility rather than the just head-on firepower that wins engagements against these units, because you need to be able to flank them, you need to be able to make them awkward, and with the artillery units, it can just kind of simply get in among their rear and take them out. Whereas, what the Allies are doing right now is they have a Pershing, but they're using the Pershing not as a medium, which it is. You know, if you've never played with Company Fuhrer's 2 Pershing, it's not a heavy tank, it's a medium tank. They're right now using it as a heavy tank. Just kind of sitting up, trying to have a basically stand-up fight alongside of what this Königsdieger is doing. Of course, the Königsdieger itself is not... Sorry. The Königsdieger itself was not having a good time of it, because it was facing tank destroyers. These units are made to fight heavy tanks. And you just don't want to get yourself in a stand-up fight with those, because the units that are made to do that are going to win eventually. Even though the Königsdieger is much better than the Pershing at doing that. And so imagine if the Königsdieger can't do that, then, you know, the Pershing definitely cannot do that. And right now, oh my god, this elephant. This elephant just literally got itself into a bad neighborhood with 2 vetted up Fireflies. The first vetted up Firefly is in a bad way because of the Panther. Panther gets one last shot in. And the Firefly does not penetrate even though it's veterancy free. This Panther was the luckiest Panther I've ever seen. But it still does go down in the end. And the second Firefly finishes off the elephant in a massive reversal. So right now, the Brits are going to have an absolute superiority when it comes to everything on the battlefield. They've completely destroyed not only the German infantry force. There's basically nothing left for both Autobus and Ghost. But they've also managed to destroy their vehicle force. Of course, Ghost 2G is going to have another KT right now. He has 700 fuel and 750 manpower. He's also got an artillery piece. And Arbus still has his Panzerwerfers. And probably enough resources for a Panther, which would be even more useful right now to him than the elephant. But still, I mean, why aren't they just using this smoke barrage? It's part of your doctrine. You should be using that. Of course, he finally comes in with a Jackson and the Pershing. He's finally going to destroy that bunker, which held down an entire flank of a map, you know, a VP. Held on an entire VP for like, what, 30 minutes or something? So that single bunker, 150 manpower and 60 munitions, just basically the most cost-effective investment on the map for all this time. But finally it's dead, and right now the Allies are going to get the double cap. For some reason these infantry sections are not taking the point, but the commandos will be taking the VP. The Königstiger is back on track, and the Panzerfaust barrage is going to prevent that capture, of course, making it rain on the poor Major, and of course the MG42 that was stolen. But oh my god, he uses the Pershing like a heavy tank. Magla kill. This Pershing is a medium tank. You need to go around them. I'm so mad. The Pershing is a unit that I like. Use it correctly. You need to go around them. Get a flanking maneuver. This thing is a medium tank. Its armor is the weakest of all heavies. Its price is the same as, almost the same as the Tiger. The Tiger is 640 manpower and 230 fuel. Its advantage over the other heavy tanks is the fact that it's got a massively superior gun, because it can fire once and it can fire twice. It's got the HVAP rounds. And it's got massive mobility. So those are its two advantages. The weapon, which is very effective against both vehicles and tanks and can get the double shot, which of course is a huge sort of burst of damage that can surprise the enemy and finish them off. And its mobility. So what you want to do is either just poke away, come in at maximum range, get a shot in, retreat, just kind of trade that way, and use the burst advantage and the, of course, mobility advantage that way, or flank around and use the mobility advantage by getting behind the enemy and getting into their rear armor. While their lumbering turrets can't do anything, you're, guess what, a medium tank. You can get around them. Your turret can keep up with, you know, very excellent mobility of the vehicle that you already have, and you can outsmart the enemy. It is not a heavy to slug out with, you know, big German cats. But well, I mean, it's going okay for the Allies regardless, and so you're gonna be able to win. These Panzerwerfers is just like massively annoying to the Allies. There goes the Stuck-3G. Looks like to the Fallschirmer Fireflies plus the Churchill. This combination is working out pretty well for Rationstein, so I can see why he was going for the Churchills rather than the Comets. Although I still feel like for the kind of game that we saw, some extra sort of flexibility and mobility could not have been that bad for him. So maybe not Comets, but at least some, you know, some Cromwells might have been very good for him, because they would have allowed him a lot more versatility to come around and deal with these sort of German heavies, and especially deal with the Elephant and now the Panzerwerfers. The Panzerwerfers are still alive, they're still getting kills, and here comes an assault a zeroing artillery from Ghost. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Jackson tries to get in a flank on the Königstiger, but it gets confused because of these things, so it does not get some last remaining shots. But, I mean, it's okay, and another Pershing is on the field. Let's see if this time it is used correctly. The problem with the Pershing is that once it gets purchased, like 90% of your micro attention needs to be focused on this one unit, because it can do so well for you, and yet it can also be a complete waste of resources. So you need to be able to use it correctly, and if you don't use it correctly, it's going to be a giant waste. It's basically the most micro-intensive heavy tank you can purchase. And in terms of like micro-intensity for a late-game armor call-in, I feel like, yeah, it's also the most micro-intensive, because the only one that would come close would be the Command Panther. But yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Soviets don't really have micro-intensive. Well, the ISU-152. Okay, so the ISU-152 is harder to use than the Pershing. But other than that, this is probably the hardest late game call-in to use. Most of your attention needs to be focused on this one unit to make it sort of be worth the expense in every shape and form. Because otherwise, you might as well have not picked Heavy Cavalry Company. You might as well have picked, I don't know, like tactical support, because it would have provided you with a lot more utility in other areas like artillery and infantry. But, oh well. And there goes that lieutenant again. He really needs to retreat whenever he hears the Panzerwerfer. Also, another Pak 43 is a bad idea, in my opinion. However, it is a very good idea if the Pershing just kind of sits in it. Pershing eventually runs away. But it's not going to be enough to save the Jackson, which goes down. Right now, it seems like the Axis are... I mean, they're gonna lose, right? I hope that they're gonna lose, considering how great of a push the Brits made earlier. I mean, the Panzer quarters over here is dead, thanks to the courtesy of this sort of British goon squad of armor. And now the goon squad is going to be approaching in from the west, completely flanking the last remaining German troops in the center. So the German defenses that are being rebuilt are now struggling because of this. However, the Pak 43 turns, and so everybody has to retreat as quickly as possible. Good kill on the first Panzerwerfer. I'm not sure why this Churchill is staying here. Just pop smoke and leave. Okay. Yeah, the Churchill definitely overstaying its welcome. And almost gets destroyed. The Pak 43 should have gotten the kill there, but actually it was just a attack run shot. It was out of range already. So these two, yeah, these two slow vehicles chasing each other is pretty funny, but yeah, the Sherman Fireflies should be able to protect the Churchill quite decently while it gets repaired. In the meantime, the right-hand side is finally being recaptured by the Axis, basically being held only by the Panzerwerfers. I mean, every time the Allies come in with a unit, they just get Panzerwerfered all the way back to base, or all the way back to, well, all the way back to wherever Company Führer's units come from. And yeah, there's really not much that they can do about it, except, you know, they have a Pershing. So instead of sending it in the center like they've always been doing, they could, you know, try to go around, and get to the Panzerwerfers, you know? How is this LEFH been faring? It doesn't seem like, no, it's got 0 kills. I mean, it's probably getting decrewed a whole lot, but still, it doesn't seem like it's that effective. Mostly because the Allies aren't really playing that much of a turtling type of game. There goes the Pershing again, to the fire, of course, of the Pak 43, which is literally made to deal with tanks that are not smart and sit in its fire. There's also a very nice pack line that's being built by the Germans in the center. So overall, yeah, this is not a place where you want to send your vehicles if you're the Allies. Raschenstein had the right idea. He came around. He used a flanking maneuver. Do you realize how advanced that is? Anyway, at this point, he doesn't really care too much because he has enough munitions for an air supremacy operation. So with the air supremacy operation, he hopes to clear up all this sort of central area. And then he should come in with his other vehicles, which right now are busy doing other things, but he should definitely come in and finish the job, although the Axis don't seem to have realized what is happening this time, so they eat a massive sort of volley from the bombers, but they get very lucky. These two anti-tank guns should have definitely taken a huge amount of damage, and the bunker survives. So that was very underwhelming for what could have happened and what should have happened, but at least the Allies got the Pak 43. So it's an okay trade. And right now we are 227 to 222, so literally the VPs are next to even, almost as even as you can get after an hour of gameplay. But I'm guessing that right now the huge superiority in terms of armor that the Allies have. Another Pershing has been purchased by Maglakill. Let's see if it gets it right this time. Massive superiority in terms of both armor and infantry, so in terms of actual combat troops that the Allies have. Is going to show soon enough. I mean, Arbus Budash does have Panzerwerfers, but he seems to be using them like once in a while, like not really too regularly. So if he were to be a little bit more rigorous with the Panzerwerfer cooldown, he might be able to basically finish off the last remnants of the British and American infantry. But he's not really doing that. Nice use of the Churchill. Comes in with the grenade, although the Pak shield seems to have protected the crew against worse of the damage. However, this time the Pershing is helping out the Churchill, and so this sort of allied armor column is going to be doing quite well. An interesting push that's going to allow it to, you know, just take the center. We have some allied infantry squads capturing all over. Finally, the Brits coming in with their infantry and capturing some points. allowing the Allies a much better position on the battlefield. Right now, there's the Pershing trying to come in, and it's going to get chased away by the King Tiger, but the King Tiger itself is exposing its rear armor to the Fireflies, but the Fireflies, for some reason, are here instead of over here helping out. So the Pershing finally gets a flank in. Holy hell. Confuses the hell out of the Königstiger. But unfortunately, this time, it does not get help from the Brits. I mean, if the two Fireflies had been here just pounding on the Königstiger all this time, the Königstiger would definitely be dead. And now the Fireflies realize that that's what they're supposed to do, but it's a little bit too late because the Königstiger is going to nicely capitalize on a mine that took out the Pershing's engine and going to get around the shot blockers, so it will be able to essentially escape these Shermans. Not forever, it goes down eventually, but the Shermans themselves take quite a nasty pounding from the mines and the KT. So if there was really anything left for the Axis, I mean, if I was Autobus right now, I would send in these Panzerschrecks just to try to get the last remaining round against that Sherman Firefly. Looks like the artillery is trying to be used that way, but that's why you don't put artillery pieces behind things, because, you know, that provides them cover, but it also prevents them from firing. It works both ways. Anyway, that's another KT from Ghost 2G. Oh my god. So many KTs and so many Pershings being absolutely wasted this game. Oh my god. So we finally have another vehicle from Budash, who has 500 fuel still left after building a Panther. And yeah, right now that Panther is showing its rear armor for some reason. Although, yeah. Finally, the Allies captured the right side. There's going to be some, you know, Panzer Grenadiers coming in and capturing that. Looks like this KT is trying to come in against the Sherman Fireflies. Sherman Fireflies should definitely escape as quickly as possible out of there, because their damaged engine does not really allow them that much freedom of operations. Oh no, he's staying there. That's not a good thing. He needs to be very careful. Okay, he's gonna come in with the heavy engineers. Those, I believe, repair faster. Yeah, okay. So the heavy engineer is gonna be able to easily repair the low health Sherman Firefly up to full. And right now the Churchill's going to be providing the nice meat shield support, taking all of the damage from the KT and the Panther, while these Sherman Fireflies are, you know, nicely sipping at their tea. And, well, I mean, the Germans this time are almost down. If their, you know, big heavies die this time, they're not really going to have enough to replenish them. So I wonder. I mean, both sides still have quite a reserve of VPs, but, I know. Okay, what the Allies need to do to win this game is take out the Panzerwerfers at this point. Oh no, what are the Panzerwerfers doing? They're getting in way too close to the Allied stuff. Okay, so they're gonna fire and hopefully escape. This could be dangerous, but I feel like it will not wipe out the Captain and the Major. It will only wipe out the MG and the anti-tank gun. So we'll actually be okay. And it does not wipe out the machine gun. So that's crucial, actually, because he's going to be able to capture the point and still have the suppression support coming in. Left-hand side is being captured. Looks like the Churchill died, but huge damage being sustained by the KT because of the support of the Fireflies. The Fireflies using that. And actually, there's, you know, there's actually a chance that the Brits can just kind of come in and run over the last remaining Germans all the way to the base. Yeah. Looks like the Raketwerfer is going to be forced away. The Panther can't really do too much against this tide of British steel. And where's the other Pershing? Oh, it's here. Okay, never mind. There was no other Pershing. Anyway. Oh, another Schwer Panzer quarters in an interesting location. Looks like he tried to hide it. Anyway, now the Axis is basically screwed because the Allies are in the base. The Allies realize that they can be aggressive, and so they're going to come in, destroying one of the Panzerwerfers. They could have also destroyed the artillery piece, but they were very, very magnanimous in leaving that alive. No actual supremacy operation because it's not, you know, there wasn't enough munitions for a ration sign. The Panther tries to come in and destroy the Sherman Fireflies as they're escaping, but it will not work because of the support of these Royal Engineers and because it overextended itself. And at this point, there's nothing left to deal with the Allied armor. So most likely it will just be the surrender. Yep, it will be. Oh my god, this game. I don't even anymore.